Program management is becoming more and more a career of choice for a lot of people recently, and that's quite understandable because it's a very easy career to pivot into from any other career. There are a lot of transferable skills that you can take from other jobs into program management, and of course, it pays really well. There are program managers across industries, especially within the booming IT industry. Program managers are in high demand. So, if you're considering going into program management or you're already a program manager, this video is specifically for people who are introverts and struggle with being able to lead as introverts. I'm going to be talking about the different things that you can do to help you get over that hurdle of thinking that introverts cannot be great program managers. I am an introvert, I'm also a program manager, and if I do say so myself, I think I'm killing it at my job. So I'm going to share some tips with you on how to be an introvert and a program manager, a great one at that. So stick with me, and I hope you find something useful here. My name is Moyo, and if you're here for the first time, I love having you here, and I hope that you can stick around by subscribing to get more of my amazing content. Now let's get to today's video. Before I get started, I think it's important for us to debunk some myths first about being an introvert. Introversion does not equate to shyness. Neither does it mean a lack of confidence. Introverts basically are people that derive their energy by withdrawing away from people, while extroverts get their energy by communicating and talking to people. There's a lot more scientific explanation for that, but I'll leave that in the description box if you want to go read more about personality traits, introversion, extroversion. I'll leave that for you to go read more on. But I just wanted to clear the air and get that out of the way. That because you're an introvert doesn't mean that you're not a good leader or you're not able to lead people. It's just a matter of how you prefer to get your energy, and how, when you're drained, how you prefer to recharge. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about some helpful tips to help you be a better program manager as an introvert. The first thing, and this applies to everything, any type of job, anything that you're trying to approach, starts by understanding yourself first. That's the first thing. Understand yourself, understand how you communicate. How do you prefer to communicate with people? What's your communication style? How do you prefer to resolve conflict? Are you someone that tries to avoid conflict at all costs, or do you go towards it to try to resolve it and move on? Do you think about personal relations? Are you someone that prefers to look at the facts when resolving conflicts, or do you focus more on the relationship and preserving the relationship? There's so many things to understand. So understanding yourself, introspection is always the first step to being a better leader, being a better manager. And I just think that when you start from there, you're able to approach this in a more empathetic way towards your team members. So start from there. And some things that have helped, especially in a professional setting, that have helped me within the program management role and just overall as an employee. I've taken some personality assessments like MBTI, Myers-Briggs. I would link that in the comment section or in the description box, so feel free to check that out and go take that personality. Another one is TKI. I'm blanking on the full meaning of TKI right now, but I'm going to put that up here when I remember. TKI is also another one, and there's also like some other conflict management tools that you can use, tests that you can take, assessments that you can take that will help you understand how you prefer to manage conflicts, so that way you have a clear understanding of who you are and how you prefer to show up in the world, how you process information. This is very important because you're going to be interacting with a lot of people as a program manager. Program managers are constantly interacting with people. Program managers are constantly talking to upper management, talking to people across the same level as them, talking to people that are direct reports to them. Just across the board, you're going to be influencing people without authority over them. You're going to need to drive progress within your program. So it's important for you to have great people skills, and where you start that from is understanding yourself. Guys, so I finished recording the rest of this video, right? Like, if you've gotten to this point, good for you. And then I realized that my camera went out of focus for the rest of the video, so now I'm having to record the whole thing again. Oh Lord. All right, let's get back to it. So, after you've gotten the whole self-awareness and having a better understanding of how you work, how you communicate, how you problem solve, how you take in information, conflict resolution, yada yada yada. Once you have a better understanding of all of that, now you can move to understanding your team. Like I said, as a program manager, you're going to be interacting with a lot of people across the board. You could range from like 5 people to over 100 people on your team, depending on the type of program that you're leading. So it's very important that you have great people skills. Understanding how to interact with people, how to develop relationships with people is very important. And this could be a little daunting as an introvert, which is why I'm specifically speaking to my introverts here. This video is helpful for anybody, even if you're not an introvert, but I think that specifically this will be helpful for introverts. So now you start to move into building rapport with your team, understanding your team members, how they communicate, how they resolve conflicts, how they take in information. The same thing that you did for yourself, now you have to do it for your team members. Try to understand them, how, their working relationship, understand their working style and all of that. And you can kind of use the same tools and assessments that you used for yourself, like the MBTI, the TKI. You could make it a team activity thing where everybody does it and it's kind of like a conversation starter to try to understand. You could also do this on a one-on-one. Some people may not like that, having that kind of activity in a group setting. So that's part of you understanding your team and what they would prefer. So paying attention to your team is very important in knowing how to work with them, how to manage them as a program manager, and how to deliver results, because these people are going to be helping you deliver the results that you are accountable for as a program manager. These people are people that you're going to work together with. You're going to have to influence them without having a direct authority over them. So understanding their working style, understanding how they prefer to communicate, how they resolve conflicts, all of that shebangs is very, very important for you to be able to do your job and do it well. And as an introvert, even getting a better understanding of that helps reduce anxiety. At least I have seen in myself that helps me with being better prepared to lead a team. So try that out and let's see how it goes. And if you have any further questions on how I've approached this personally, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Now that you've done that, you understand yourself, you understand your team. So how do you bring all of those two things together? The next thing now as a program manager, especially an introverted one, is to be adaptable and flexible. Learn those skills as soon as you can as a program manager, because they're going to come in very handy for you. Being flexible and adaptable means that you're able to flex different working styles. So understanding how your team communicates and the situation at hand, you can kind of flex to fit that situation so you can achieve the goal for that specific situation. Unfortunately, I wish that we could stay introverts all the time and just withdraw, because I know some extreme introverts would rather not even speak up in meetings. But as a program manager, you can't really do that, because you have to drive meetings, you have to drive the action items and kind of motivate the team to be able to achieve that goal. So since you can't do that, your next best option is to learn how to flex and how to be adaptable. So for me in the beginning, I struggled a lot with change. Change in the sense that as a program manager, you already you have a plan. I'm a huge planner. I love planning things. I plan my whole life. And that has come in handy for me as a program manager. But it's also been like an Achilles heel for me in the sense that, I find that I am, a little bit resistant to change in that sense. So when we already have our deliverables, our scope is set out, and then we bring this to management and we have to change the scope, but the customer drives that change. Regardless, you're going to be seeing a lot of changes. A lot of changes will be happening, especially when you're in a very agile team where the whole methodology is based on being adaptable to change. So understanding that, and one of the ways that I do that is being prepared. I know it sounds counterintuitive. Planning is actually a way that I counter that. So before going into meetings, planning ahead and understanding the goals of the meeting, understanding what you're trying to achieve with that meeting. If you're going to be leading, or you're going to have other people come have discussions in the meetings, That's also something. So just make sure that you're coming in prepared, and also be open to changes. So a lot of times you're in meetings and people are trying to drive different scope changes, or sometimes it could even be a scope creep. Because you came in prepared to that meeting, you know what the goal is. Even if you're going to eventually have that change, you identify the suggestions and maybe put that in a parking lot session, assign action items and people that will be accountable for those action items, and then go back to go review. So you know that, okay, this meeting we're coming in to discuss status updates, but then there are all of these suggestions about things that need to be changed. Great, let's write those down and let's go discuss that more as a team, but let's give the status updates of where we're at, and then we can go ahead and make those changes if going through the right processes, of course. So flexibility, adaptability is very important, and you can learn the skills over time as you grow as a program manager. The last thing I'm going to share with you as an introverted program manager, this is for you specifically, and you have to hold on to this as much as possible. I want you to take care of yourself. Girl, boy, whoever. Take care of yourself as much as possible, in the sense that make sure that you're separating work and life. It's very easy, I know, especially with us being in a pandemic for like almost 2 years. A lot of us have been working from home. It can be hard to separate that life and work, and as a program manager, as an introvert and a program manager, this is especially important that you do that, because you need to recharge. Introverts require to step away from stimulation, outside stimulation, constant stimulation, from having to interact with multiple people over the course of a day. So you need to come up with a plan for what you do to recharge. Separate life from work. Like what I do, for me, I separate my home office from the rest of the apartment. So once I'm done with work and I shut my laptop down, I just leave that there and transition into life part of it, so that way I can recharge, I can stay sane, and I also try to not constantly blur those lines and create strong boundaries between life and work. Create those stress, because it's going to help you. You need to be able to recharge, be your best self, your best introverted self outside of work, so you can bring your best self to work and be the best employee you can be. So identify what charges you up, what helps you recharge. If it's watching a movie, if it's working out, sometimes I even take breaks in the middle of a working day, like during my lunch break. I go take a walk, go work out or something, just to kind of help me recalibrate to myself. So as you're flexing across different personality traits and different people, make sure that you're still staying true to yourself, in the sense that you know that this is who you are when you are most relaxed, this is how you prefer to interact, and do that when you're outside of situations that require you to flex. Make sure that you're going back to your true home, your true self. Alright, I hope that I have said some meaningful things here that will be helpful to you as an introverted program manager, or even somebody that just struggles with overall program management leadership as a whole. So if you have any specific questions or you're struggling with anything, I hope that you will be able to reach out to me, because I'm always available. Reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer those questions, or even point you to resources that will be helpful to you. Like I said, I left some resources that I mentioned in this video in the description box, so feel free to check those out, and good luck. Thank you for joining me, and talk to you soon.